Hello YouTube and fellow DC Comic fans, I'm Keith One Shot, and this is my dramatic reading series, and today we will be covering Batman Annual Number 2, Date Night's Last Rites, from DC Comics. We start this story off near the beginning of Bruce's career as Batman, inside of the Batcave, where we see Catwoman climbing down a rope into the cave, and then behind the wheel of the Batmobile. Catwoman starts the car, then she takes off into the streets of Gotham City, as she says, "Meow!" We then see Batman in an alleyway, as he's hanging a criminal upside down. Batman then gets a message from Alfred on the comlink saying, "Master Bruce!" Batman then says, "Busy." Then Alfred tells him, "Yes, I am aware of your current business. However, I thought you should be made aware that it seems we have a problem with the car." Shortly after, we see Batman inside of Porky's bar, where Catwoman crashed the Batmobile inside of. As Batman checks the car, Porky, the bar owner, says, the Batmobile." Alfred then messages Batman saying, "How does the car look, sir?" Then Batman replies, "The Batmobile will be fine." Alfred then says, "Batmobile, sir? Is that what we're calling it?" Then Batman checks the car, where he finds a mouse. Then he tells Alfred, "There's a mouse. She left a mouse." Later, we go to Wayne Manor, where we see Bruce is writing things down. Then Alfred says to him, "Sir, I thought we agreed. Today would be a day of rest." Bruce then tells Alfred, "Last night, when I turned him over to Gordon, Nigma asked, 'What has been played?' I believe it's a code. Convert the letters to numbers and..." Alfred then walks over to Bruce and says, "Sir, you have a not mild concussion, a bruised rib, a serious abdominal laceration. The Riddler is in jail. You should be in bed." Bruce then sets down his notepad and says, the look on his face as he said it, as he was taken away. He was satisfied, content. "You know that look, Alfred." Alfred then hands Bruce a drink and says, "Yes, Master Bruce, I believe I saw it once, many years ago." Bruce then takes a sip of his drink. Then he says, "What has been played? Wait, Francis Watt, the second baseman for the Gotham Knights. Didn't he miss his last start?" Then Bruce reaches for his pen and notepad. Then he says, "The pen is gone." Then Alfred tells him, "Is it? Shall I alert the Superman? Or perhaps we look under the sofa?" Then Bruce pauses and says, "She's here." Then Alfred replies, "Sir." We then hear Catwoman's voice from the other room say, "Meow." Then Bruce hops over the sofa. Then he says, "Dining room." We then see Bruce running across his dining room table as he shouts, "Stop!" Then Catwoman says, "No!" Then Bruce runs through the kitchen as he yells, "I'm going to catch you!" Then Catwoman says, "No, you're not." The chase continues into an extra room, where Bruce says, "This is ridiculous." Then Catwoman says, "That you think you can catch me? I agree." Then Bruce runs up a set of stairs, as he shouts, "I'm going to catch you." Then Catwoman tells him, "No, you're not." Then, as the two run through the hallway, Catwoman shouts, "I meant to tell you. I wanted to be nice. You know, after what happened with the car. So I called the cops on myself, before I broke in. Which I think is very generous. Anyway, they should be pulling up right about now. And won't they be excited to see me go right out the front window?" Catwoman hops up on the ledge, opens the window, and says to Bruce, "Oh, and won't they be surprised to see you follow, Bruce Wayne?" Then, Catwoman leaps from the window towards the cops, as she says, "Bye-bye, Bat. Thanks for the pen." We then see Bruce looking out of the window, as we hear the cops trying to catch Catwoman. But as much as they try, she's easily able to get away from them. Bruce then goes back into the manor, where he finds a mouse. Then later in the Batcave, we see Batman researching on his computer, as he says to Alfred, "The new alarms I installed, 4 of them failed, but the 5th redundancy. She's back." Then Alfred says, "I'll hide the pencils." Batman then heads for the stairs, as he tells Alfred, "She's in the bedroom. I've locked the doors and the gates. There's no way out. It's over." As Batman walks upstairs, Alfred says, "Please let her know. If she leaves another mouse, it's only proper to leave money to feed the bloody thing." We then see Catwoman cracking a safe. Then, as Batman walks in, she tells him, "So, the safe you hide, but don't hide well. The one behind the Goya that's full of pretty jewels and quite a bit of money." Batman then tells Catwoman, "You're trapped." Then she opens up the safe and says, "But the safe you hide very well. The one behind your 5th redundancy?" Then Batman tells her, "It would be best if you surrendered peacefully." Catwoman then reaches inside of the safe and says, "In that safe, all we have is a pearl. A single, rather scratched pearl. Why?" Then, Batman walks over to a picture of his parents and tells Catwoman, "It was my mother's. She..." "I know." "Everyone knows." "Yes, everyone knows, but I know." "You shouldn't be here." "My parents, My mother. She left. And growing up here in Gotham, I was a stray. I was alone. Like you. After they left. After a while. Did you ever have that moment where you don't know anything else? Where you almost like this life? You like being by yourself. And then you think, maybe it's better. Maybe it's okay. And then you hate yourself. You hate everything. Because it's okay. Then Catwoman walks closer to Batman and says, "Why do you dress like a bat?" "Why do you dress like a cat?" "I like cats. Everyone likes cats. Who likes bats?" "No one. You shouldn't be what everyone likes." Then Catwoman leans in close to Batman and says, "You want people to be scared of you?" "It helps." "I'm not scared of you." "No, you're not." "Do you know why I'm not scared of you?" "I do." "Does that scare you?" "Yes, it does." "So, you're scared of a cat." "Shouldn't I be?" "Of course not. Everyone likes cats." "Right, because they're soft." Then, Catwoman pokes Batman in the chest and says, "So, why do we fight? Why don't we not fight?" "You steal things. You're a criminal." "And being a mass vigilante of the night? That's completely legal." "I'm trying to help." "Are you? Well then, so am I." "Please, no! You shouldn't touch my belt." Then suddenly, a smoke cloud pops up, and Catwoman starts running away. Then Batman says, "No! No! Alfred! She got off one of my smoke bombs! I can't check the computer, the doors, the locks. Are they holding?" Then Alfred responds, "No, sir." Then Batman says, "Is there any sign of the Catwoman?" Then Alfred responds, "No, sir." Then Batman says, "Damn it!" Then we see another mouse left behind. Later, we see Alfred putting a mouse inside of a cage as he sings, "Some of these days you'll miss your honey. Some of these days you'll feel so lonely. You miss my hugging, you miss my kisses. You miss me, honey, when you go away. I feel so lonely for you, just only. But you know, honey, you've had your way. And when you leave me, I know you'll grieve me. You'll miss your little honey some of these days." We then see Catwoman on the roof of Wayne Manor, where she's cutting a hole into a window. Then we hear Batman say from behind her, "Again?" Catwoman then responds, "Again and again." "Why?" Batman asks, as the two stand on the roof during a rainstorm at night. Then Catwoman tells Batman, "You know, you should really appreciate this. You ever try palming a live mouse? They're very squirmy." "Why?" Isn't it obvious? Because you're weak. You have to be better. I have to make you better. I have to teach you where you're weak, or you're going to die." Catwoman then runs at Batman as she shouts, "I see it every time I see you. And I see you more than you know I see you." Then, Catwoman flips over Batman as she says, "You're so good. You've trained so well. You've mastered just about everything you can master. But under that cape, the mask, under there, you're still that poor little rich boy in the house on the hill. All that pain from being alone. You're still that sweet darling mouse who can't see the cat coming." As the chase continues through the courtyard of Wayne Manor, Batman shouts, "You don't know me!" "And you don't know me!" "I know enough." "Well, Bat, sometimes knowing enough is just enough to want to know more." Then, as the two run towards the woods, Batman yells, "Why do you care if I live or die?" "Why do you care if I live or die?" "It's different. We're different." "No, Bat, that's just it. That's all of it. Under there, we're just the same." Batman stops running. Then he shouts, "No, Cat! Cat! Cat!" Then, as Batman stands alone, with the rain washing down on him, he hears the squeak of a mouse that Selina left on his shoulder. Later, we see Catwoman coming home to her apartment through the window, where she's greeted by her cat. Then, a door opens up, and Batman walks in and says, "Squeak!" Selina then takes off her mask. Then she says, "How?" Then Batman tells her, "Your souvenirs, the lead signature in their droppings, traced back to the paint used in this apartment." Then Selina says, "Mouse poo." "Yes, mouse poo." Then Selina grabs a glass of wine and says, "And it doesn't take 4 mice to produce droppings, does it? You've known since the beginning, and you still let me. Why?" Then Batman takes off his cowl and tells Selina, "Because sometimes I like being alone, and then I hate everything, because I like it. You saw me, I see you." Then Selina pours a glass of wine and says, "Great, glad you get it. You and me, the two orphans, lost, who see the weak in one another. And now you want to what? Help me?" Then Bruce pulls Selina close to him and says, "No, I don't want to help you." Then Bruce kisses Selina. After the kiss, the two say to each other, "Hello." "Hello." Then Selina rests her head on Bruce's chest. Then she says, "Remember the first time we met? Did you think it would lead to this? Then Bruce hugs Selina and tells her, I remember you on the boat, when your mask came off. You are lovely. Then Selina replies, What? On the boat? No, Bat, remember? We met on the street. No, you're wrong. We met on the... Later, we see Bruce and Selina together. They are both much older now, as they sit in an office. Bruce then says, No, you're wrong. We met on a boat. It wasn't. You're wrong. When I was 16 years old, I trained with the memory of the mountain. For a year I sat with this man, learning how to forever encode my senses on my mind. I was his first pupil. He said, whoever exceeded him. That's what he said. Selina then smiles at Bruce. Then she says, Well, that's very nice, Bat. And we still met on the street. Then the two hold each other's hands, as Bruce says, No, Cat, remember? Then a doctor walks into the office and tells them, We have all the results now. I'm afraid. After they leave the doctor's office, we see Bruce and Selina walking through a park, as Bruce says, The memory of the mountain had a 3-pack-a-day habit. I was supposed to be in this months-long trance, but he'd kick me every few days, waking me up, asking me to go down the mountain and get him a few more cartons. Of course, I wasn't allowed money, or possessions, or anything, so I'd have to steal and there was one store within hundreds of miles. The third time I lifted a carton, they knew what was going on, so I started using disguises. But I didn't have money for disguises, so I had to steal those. And then Selina stops walking, as she starts crying. Bruce then checks on her. Then Selina tells him, I'm fine. Then Bruce hugs Selina, and she says, It's okay, I'm fine. Then, as the two start walking again, Bruce says, So there was this local woman. She had a collection of wigs in a locked trunk. A collection of wigs in a locked trunk. Later, we see Selina on a rooftop in Gotham City at night. Then, a new young Batwoman walks up behind Selina and says, I spoke to Zatanna. She went on wherever she goes beyond here. She says, there's not really anything to do. She says everyone has a time. She says, Dad got his. Then, the bat signal shines brightly in the night sky. Then Batwoman tells Selina, I'm sorry, I have to? Then Selina says, Helena, I am your father's wife. I understand. Just go. Then Batwoman says, Yes, Mother. Then, as Batwoman leaps off the rooftop to protect Gotham City, just as her father had done for most of his life, we see Selina looking down over Gotham with a look of sadness on her face. We then look back to see Selina in bed. As Bruce looks at himself in the mirror, he tells her, Somewhere out there's another Earth where I never get old. We're married. We're sick. We're anything. I'm always alone. Always the Batman. Then Selina says, Don't forget the light. As Bruce walks over to the bed, he says, After you understand. After. I want you to find Barry. Then you have him find that other me out there. And that fellow will take care of you. That's what you should do. What I want. For you to be happy and safe. Then, as the two lay together in bed, Selina says, Bat. And Bruce says, Yes, Cat. You forgot the light. Yeah, I'll get in a second. Just give me a second. Okay. We then see Bruce in the Batcave, lifting weights. But the weights come crashing down, and Bruce yells, Damn it! Then Selina walks down into the cave and says, Bat! Then Bruce says, I couldn't. I can't. Then Selina hugs Bruce, and he says, What? Are you here to help me? No, I'm not here to help you. Then Selina kisses Bruce. Then we hear the song that Alfred was singing earlier. Some of these days you'll miss your honey. Some of these days you'll feel so lonely. You miss my hugging, you miss my kisses. You miss me, honey, when you go away. I feel so lonely for you, just only for you. No, honey, you've had your way. And when you leave me, I know you'll grieve me. You'll miss your little honey some of these days. Later, we see Bruce laying in his bed, with Selina at his side, and members of the Bat family surrounding him. Then, as Bruce passes away, Selina says, Shh, shh. Good night, Bat. I love you. Later, we see Selina in the Batcave. She walks over to the Batmobile and gets inside. Then she hears a kitten meow. Then she picks up the cat, holds him. Then she says, And where did you come from, darling? What's this? Then Selina finds a note that's on the cat's collar that says, I love you too, cat. From the first kiss to the last. And that ends today's story. comic published by DC Comics. All rights, story art, and characters belong to DC Comics and their respective owners. Not me. This is Ben, Batman Annual number 2, Date Night's Last Rites, and I'm your host, Keith One Shot. If you like this video, make sure to check out the rest of my Comic Complete dramatic reading series, and support DC Comics by picking up a copy of the trades and single issue comics. Support your local comic book shop, take care, and have a great day. Goodbye!